And right now we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick here with Katie Greifeld, taking you through to that closing bell. It's a global simulcast. Carol Massar, Tim Stenovec, they're in the radio booth as always, locked in their cage. Welcome to our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms, including our partnership with YouTube. Carol Massar, you seem very excited here on a day where the market's getting
Chris, you're back.
a pretty nice bid. Thank you.
Were you sick?
No, I was locked in the dressing room. I couldn't get out for 24 hours.
Got to work on that, Romaine. You're a pretty smart dude.
Just text me if
I had to wait till Matt Miller came in this morning to
Oh
let me
my
out.
gosh.
It was very terrifying.
He let you out?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Hey, what an interesting day. I don't know that I want to go as far as saying risk trade is on, but I mean, most names in the S&P are higher today. It's just kind of fascinating to see this as we get ready for the Thanksgiving holiday, because I expect tomorrow's going to be quiet.
Yeah, the Russell 2000, though, is really where the action is today. Just off its best levels of the day, but still up, Katie, more than 2%.
Yeah, absolutely. The small caps seeing a lot of love today. It's interesting, the pair trade that's going on in big tech right now, which seems to be buy Alphabet and sell NVIDIA shares. So as such, you add it together in the Nasdaq 100, the underperformer, which, you know, we don't see too often.
Yeah, and we should point out, too, even before today, Alphabet had really been outperforming NVIDIA. I think on a year-to-date basis, it's returning about double what NVIDIA is returning, which says a lot. We're talking about 70% gain in Alphabet shares this year, which for a company that size is nothing short of phenomenal.
I know you listen to my gainers, and I've had Alphabet on my gainers list a bunch of times over the last week.
I'm sorry, you're what?
Yeah. Exactly. He wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nice.
All right, we do get the closing bells. We should point out volume is significantly lighter than what we have seen over the past couple of weeks. This is, of course, normal for a holiday shortened week, particularly with the Thanksgiving holiday. Usually the day after Thanksgiving, it ends up being one of the lowest volume days of the year. And today is basically a preview of that. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, nevertheless, adding more than 600 points or 1.4%. The S&P 500 up more than 60 points or 0.9%. The Nasdaq Composite is going to finish higher by about 0.7%. But it's really the small and mid caps, the cyclical names, if you will, that outperformed in a big way, including the Russell 2000, Carol, up 2% on the day.
Yeah, pretty significant, that outperformance there. Hey, let's go back, though, to the big caps, if I may. S&P 500, Katie, 426 names actually gaining ground on this Tuesday, 74 to the downside and 3 unchanged.
And you also saw pretty good breadth when it comes to the sectors, though not a perfect score. 8 in the green, 3 in the red. I think it is so interesting that you had tech actually finish a little bit lower on the day because you had Alphabet hitting another all-time high, but still, you think about some of the names on the other side, NVIDIA included, and it netted out to a little bit of a negative downdraft. Healthcare, though, consumer discretionary communication services, some of your biggest winners on this day.
All right, we are getting some earnings out of the software space right now. Autodesk out with their results for the most recent quarter, third quarter EPS. Looks like a beat, $2.67 a share. The street was looking for $2.50 net revenue in the quarter, beating modestly by $1.85 billion. The street was looking for $1.81. Here's your guidance going forward for the current quarter, the fiscal fourth quarter. The company says that revenue will be in a range of 1.9 to 1.92. The lower end of that range is well above street estimates of 1.86 in EPS. 259 to 267 a share. Once again, the lower end of that range, Katie, above the average of street estimates. So beat and raise quarter here for Autodesk.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Workday, too, because you take a look at the after-hours share price moving higher by about 7%. That's after they boosted their full-year subscription revenue forecast. They see their fourth quarter subscription revenue coming in at $2.36 billion. That is above the estimate of $2.35 billion. So that's the look ahead for the third quarter. Third quarter revenue coming in at $2.43 billion. That's slightly above the estimate. Similar story when you take a look at third quarter adjusted EPS coming in at $2.32 above estimates of $2.17. So again, you can see the reaction in shares is positive at the moment, Tim.
All right, shares of the data infrastructure company NetApp were surging higher. Now they're higher again, 4% in the after hours. The company boosted its fiscal year adjusted earnings per share forecast. The company sees third quarter net revenue at $1.62 to $1.77 billion. Estimate was for $1.71 billion. Second quarter net revenue came in above estimates. The company still sees fiscal year net revenue $6.63 billion to $6.88 billion. Shares in the after hours up about 4.8%.
All right, guys, I'm going to go back to some individual gainers as we await some more earnings. earnings. I'm just going to bring up Google and or Alphabet and Meta Platform on one screen. We, of course, know the news that we were talking about Google versus NVIDIA all day today, but the news was that Meta is said to be in talks to spend billions on Google's AI chips, adding to a months-long rally that we've seen in Alphabet shares that has made the case that it can rival maybe NVIDIA as a leader in AI technology. So this story has been out there. Shares of Alphabet finishing the day about 1.5% higher. Meta Platforms finished the day with a gain of about 3.8%. So just wanted to show those together. Real quickly, two retailers, outperformers, Abercrombie and Fitch, finishing the day with a gain of about 37%, excuse me. The company raised the low end of its 2026 net sales and earnings per share guidance range as its Hollister brand continued to gain momentum. And you did lift kind of some other names in the space. American Eagle and Urban Outfitters also were higher. Keep in mind, the stock is still down 40% year to date with 12% of the float short. And Kohl's
and we should point out, we're expecting to get Urban Outfitters after the bell tonight, too.
Thank you for that. Yeah, good point. Kohl's also up about 42% in today's, soaring to its highest in more than a year. It raised its full year outlook for the second quarter, adding to kind of a steady stream of retailers reporting stronger than expected results. So some major outperformance in that one as well. All right.
Okay, some underperformance in the name of some chip stocks, namely NVIDIA down 2.6%. It was down as much as 7.1% earlier in the session. AMD also fell today, 4.2%. That was down as much as 9.7% in the session. Carol just talked about why Alphabet's Google has been doing so well. This information report that Meta Platforms is in talks to spend billions on Google AI chips known as tensor processing units or TPUs, sending shares of NVIDIA and AMD lower. Looking at J.M. Smucker Company today, too, shares slid 3.7%. They hit their lowest intraday level at one point since early July. The company lowered the top end of its full-year guidance ranges. The company also canceled a planned price increase on coffee due to tariff relief. Cafe Bustelo, Dunkin', and Folgers are in its coffee brands. Romaine, I know you are watching what's going on with Dell right now. Yeah, Dell Computer. I'm actually going to reverse this here and start with the forecast for the full fiscal year. Dell is saying that adjusted EPS will be at its midpoint of $9.92 a share. It had previously seen about $9.55. So it looks like it's basically nudging up its adjusted EPS outlook by just a smidge here, also nudging up its revenue guidance for the full fiscal year to $111.2 billion to $112.2 billion.
Wow.
The previous range that it had given was 105 to 109. So a raise here on the forecast. As far as the quarter that just was, it does look a beat on that as well here. Looking at roughly about 11% gain here on operating income for the most recent quarter. The company also saying that revenue in the quarter also up 11% to $27 billion. So we should point out that that does look like a slight miss of street estimates. The street was looking for about 27.19 here. So it looks like the numbers for the most recent quarter relatively in line to just a smidge below what the street was looking for, but a guide higher for the rest of the year.
All right. So from high tech to consumer discretionary we go. As we mentioned, retail earnings. Urban Outfitters, man, folks, it was up 9% in the regular session. It is soaring in the aftermarket, up about 16%. Let's go to the third quarter. Third quarter comp retail segment sales up 8%. The estimate was for an increase of about 5%. Third quarter EPS of $1.28 a share. Again, we're just looking for some more color here from the company. That third quarter net sales is a beat. Keep in mind that this stock has been up about 24% year to date, but about 15% of the float is short. So we'll look for some commentary a little bit more when it comes to what they're seeing for the consumer.
Yeah, interesting to see shares up about 15% after hours, though. A different story when it comes to Zscaler. Shares moving about 5, 6, 7% lower right now, moving quite a lot. This is after actually their second quarter revenue forecast came in higher than estimates. They see revenue between $797 million to $799 million. The estimate had been for $796.1 million. So still not really tiding over investors here. First quarter results came in adjusted EPS 96 cents versus 77 cents year over year. The estimate had been for 86 cents. So a beat there as well. Also a beat when it comes to revenue versus expectations, but still tough crowd. You can see Zscaler shares down about 5% right now.
Okay, you're watching Zscaler. I'm watching ticker WOOF in the after hours. That's Petco. It's up 7.75% in the after hours. The company did report fourth quarter net sales down low single digits year over year. Fourth quarter adjusted EBITDA forecast, though, did beat estimates. Third quarter net sales coming in at $1.5 billion. The estimate was for $1.47 billion. The company sees fourth quarter adjusted EBITDA 93 to 95 million. The estimate was 92.4 million. This company has been getting beat up, not just this year, going into this earnings report. It was down more than 22%, but going back to all-time highs, down close to 90% from those all-time highs. That was back in January of 2021.
All right, quick check on Dell that just reported. It's still up about 1.5%, bouncing around a little bit, but up about 1.5% in the aftermarket. Urban Outfitters up almost 13%. Zscaler down about 5.5%, folks.